Good morning. It's Sunday, June 7th, 2020, and my husband asked me to do a video of our garden. We've been here 8 years next month, and it's been a lot of trial and error. So here we go. Here's a hanging basket that my husband got me for Mother's Day. And my children got me these over here. They're absolutely beautiful, and the hummingbirds love them. I have some pots here that I got from King Super. I wait for them to go about 80% off, and then I grab them at a great price. I put something different in them every year. I've had them about 5 years, I believe. Here in the front of the garden, I've got peppers from seed. This is a poblano. It should do well. I think I need to move that into the sun more. This gets a lot of morning shade here, and then evening sun. These are salvias. They do really well in the sun in the front yard, and I'm bringing more into the back, as you will see. I have a honeysuckle. I've had this here for about 5 or 6 years, and doesn't get much bigger than that. It needs more sun, so I am thinking about moving that. We had a water feature in the backyard with flagstone. We took that apart. We're backfilling it and putting it in a bird bath. So I took all that flagstone and placed it throughout my yard. This side, I've had troubles with plants. I've tried a lot of hydrangeas. They don't survive. So I'm thinking about doing some evergreens that have a boxwood look. More flowers from seeds, kind of the cottage garden look. Again, this is the first time I've ever done flower seeds in my yard, and I got these neat little labels off of Amazon so I can record everything and remember what I put where and how they do in the yard. We have a tree that must have came from someone else's yard. I'm excited to see what happens with this tree. And a bunch of columbines here. I planted one and they've produced every year. They like the shade. My boxwoods, which I absolutely love. They don't do very well here in Colorado. They do like shade, so this gets morning sun, and then in the evening it gets shade. So they do okay, but I have one over here that gets a lot of shade that has really done well. I put some Irish moss on the base to help protect the weeds. And then we've got some irises that just came in yesterday. We're in the shade. They do better in the sun. I put some Irish moss that will grow, I think, 36 inches around the stepping stones. And then I've got a total of 9 boxwoods. This one I need to cut back. I think it's going to survive. It's got a lot of new growth coming in. I did have one die. I had to completely replace, and then I put in another row on each side here. Sunflowers everywhere in my yard. I planted them 6 years ago in the backyard, and they've just been all over my yard. And I literally pluck about 1,000 baby new growth to have symmetry in my yard. We've got more iris, and they've been up for about a week and a half, 2 weeks. They're still looking really pretty. More salvia here. This is a butterfly bush that I cut back. I've got 2 of them. They've been here 8 years, and they do really well. They're not in bloom yet, but by next month I think they will be fully bloomed. I've got strawberries, more columbines, and just different plants I did not label, so I can't tell you what they are. And more seed. Poblano seed, and I did put some watermelon seeds up here as well. So over to the side yard, I put some new things in over here. I've kind of neglected this side of the yard, and I'm trying to do more this year. We have roses that I moved over here. Get a lot of morning shade, so they need more sun too. Thinking about putting them in the backyard. More sunflowers. Another poblano pepper. Over here, I have a new plant that I found. It's very soft and silver, and it looks like it's going to be really pretty. I believe it's going to be about 3 feet wide, 3 feet tall, and it's called a wormwood silver mount. I put 2 of those in on each side of the little fountain here. Some more hummingbird, butterfly, and bee flowers that they love. And this one seems to attract them as well. It's called Clockwise. It's a ground cover. I want to get a few more of those and put down in the ground. More sunflowers, iris. And on this side, I just planted these about a week ago. I have 3 of them. They haven't bloomed yet. I think they need more sun as well. And they're a lavender flower. Australia lavender. Some more hanging plants. And I have this tree here that hopefully is going to be planted today. It's called a double flowering cherry. And it's absolutely beautiful, but it only lasts about a month when it flowers. So we're going to go to the backyard. On the side here, this was supposed to be a dog run. Although we go through it all the time, I'm going to actually start planting bushes and stuff and make this really pretty. But I probably won't get to it until next year. So right now it's just a messy pass through. This one here too, lots. Believe it or not, I've been plucking weeds upon weeds upon weeds, but this is another area that's kind of been neglected. I'd like to put down some brick and make it circular with a drainage and have like a little sitting area for a fire pit. Over here, I laid down new soil, clay busters, and put down these stepping stones. Lots of seed, echinacea, poppy, zinnias, and they're just starting to come through. So by next month, you'll probably see more. There's another salvia. Here's a deck that Matt built probably 6 years ago, and it just needs to be redone. It didn't survive the winter very well, and that corner's popping up. Over here, I've got honeysuckle. And so far, every night since we put it in, there's been hummingbirds around it in the evening. Another poblano. And there's my garden buddy relaxing in the soil. I've got this little flower bed I put together, finding rock throughout my yard, and planting more salvia and just other little seedy flowers that I put in that do well in the sun. This gets a lot of sun. It has morning shade up until about 11 o'clock noon, and then it's all sun. I'm starting to put some bird houses here, hoping to gather a bunch of birds. And then the path goes up here. This is our fountain that we took apart that needs to be backfilled. And I have a 3-tier bird bath in my garage that we're going to be putting in that spot. And my deck just has lots of planted seeds on there. And then I've just been running the theme of this fence throughout the backyard. Still has a long ways to go. We have down here my rhubarb plant. I've had that for 8 years. And it gets bigger every year. And I make lots of rhubarb strawberry pies. Here I have an asparagus that went to seed, and I planted that 8 years ago as well, and it has already produced about 40 asparaguses that we've picked and eaten, and they taste amazing out of the garden. Over here I have a peach tree that has regrown because the original one died, and I'm hoping this one will survive and grow. I have an arbor tree here. I think I'm going to leave it in the pot the first year and then plant it. I haven't decided where I'm going to put that yet. More salvia. I planted a bunch of those yesterday, actually. Through here. Again, this yard just needs lots and lots of work. Just put up this fence around my garden. We had severe windstorms yesterday. Almost took out our fences, and I have a wisteria here that fell over. We're going to be putting an arbor in and putting this wisteria tree around the arbor. Pick it up. I'm excited to get that in. Hopefully next weekend we'll have that arbor up and the wisteria in. Then I've got watermelon, zucchinis, beets, cabbage, tomatoes, lots of stuff. Here's my compost I've had for 8 years. This is our 8-year-old cherry tree. It's one of the fruit trees that have survived. I've planted probably 6. And this is the only one that's really survived. I think it has to do with the drainage and where I have it in the yard. I'm going to put another tree next to it, and I've put down soil so the soil can be really rich when we plant the tree. I have a hydrangea bush that I hopefully will be successful. It has good drainage, lots of shade, and I've planted probably 5 throughout my yard, and none of them have lasted, so I'm hoping this one will. But yeah, lots of work to be done, but it's starting to come together. You guys have a good day. Thanks. Bye.